Foreign Language Skills. Intermediate. Module 9. The Interview. 9.1.
Good morning! Today, we're going to talk about theme parks, and we're going to hear from Andy Wells, who has written a guide to theme parks around the world. Welcome to the program, Andy.
Hi, it's good to be here.
You really have a dream job, don't you, Andy? Flying around the world all the time, visiting adventure parks.
Well, yes, it's pretty exciting, but it's really hard work too, you know?
I bet. So, what's the number one theme park in the world?
That all depends what you're looking for. In terms of numbers, it has to be Magic Kingdom at Disney World in Florida, the most famous theme park. But the most popular park for people who like adventure rides is Cedar Point in Ohio, USA. It has the biggest number of roller coasters in one park, 17,
Whoa.
and 3 water rides. There are lots of other attractions too. Last year, they introduced 50 animatronic dinosaurs. You know, life-size models that move and look real.
Cool. Have they got anything lined up for this year?
Yeah, there's a new roller coaster called the Gatekeeper. Well, actually, it's not a roller coaster, it's a wing coaster. It'll be the biggest in the world.
What's a wing coaster?
With a normal roller coaster, you are sitting on a seat with the track under you. With a wing coaster, the seats kind of stick out at the side, so the passengers have nothing below or above them. You feel as if you're flying.
So it's more frightening?
More exciting! Way more exciting!
What other attractions have you seen recently?
I've just been to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at the Islands of Adventure in Orlando, Florida. It's great. You know those shops that sell magic sweets and things in the Harry Potter books? Well, they have those, just like you've imagined. There's a fantastic tour of Hogwarts School where you meet characters from the books. It's so well done.
Right. Sounds interesting. In your book, you have a lot of theme parks in Asia too. Can you tell us about them?
Sure. Tokyo has had a Disneyland for quite a long time, which attracts a lot of people. Ocean Park in Hong Kong has also been going for a long time. That has a lot of marine animals as well as rides. Lottie World, a huge park in South Korea, has the world's biggest indoor theme park. And then there's Universal Studios in Singapore. That's expanding with additions to its New York street section. There's going to be a Sesame Street dark ride. A dark ride's a ride inside a building.
I see. New York in Singapore?
Yeah, it's weird, but it works. But the place to watch at the moment is China. They're really expanding. Lots more parks will open in China in the next few years, including another one with dinosaurs in the north and Ocean Kingdom in the south. That will have the world's longest roller coaster and tallest Ferris wheel, as well as boat rides and a nighttime zoo.
Wow. So that's opening soon?
Yes, this year. I'll be there.
Have a ride for me then.
9.2.
Hello, this is Yaya. How can I help you?
This is Michael calling from ABC Company. How are you today?
Hi, Michael. It's great to hear from you. Thank you for calling. I'm all right. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. I have received your CV, and I would like to invite you for an interview.
Oh, really? That's great. I'm excited to have the opportunity to meet you. When is a good time?
Are you free next week on the 21st?
Let me check my schedule. I am sorry, but I will be busy that day. How about the 22nd?
That will be fine. Will you be available at 1 p.m.?
Yes. I will be free all day.
Okay. So we will meet at 1 p.m. on the 22nd.
Yes, that is correct. Where should I meet you?
The interview will be on the 4th floor of our LA building, room number 406. Do you know where it is?
Yes, I know where it is. That will be fine. Can I confirm that my interview will be on the 22nd at 1 p.m. in the LA building room number 406?
Yes, that's correct. All right. Thank you, and I look forward to meeting with you. Goodbye.
Yes. Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
9.3.
Hi. Thanks for coming to the interview today. It's nice to meet you.
Well, thank you.
To begin with, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, I've always been interested in teaching in a language program like this, and I graduated with a degree in English and psychology 8 years ago.
Oh, really? Both?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I landed my first job overseas in Japan.
Oh, wow. That's pretty impressive. What did you do there? What kind of work?
Well, I worked full-time for a private language school in Tokyo for the first 2 years, and then I found a job at a community college.
Oh, really? So exactly what did you do in your work there then?
Well, I taught English and culinary arts.
You taught cooking classes?
Well, I know it sounds like an unusual combination, but I completed a program in culinary arts before I got my English and psychology degrees.
Oh, wow. You've done a lot, haven't you?
Yeah.
So what exactly, how did you teach and what exactly did you do?
Well, many of my students wanted to become chefs in restaurants, or they wanted to start their own restaurants. And in our area, there were many tourist spots. A lot of tourists came to that particular area. And so with English, they would be able to communicate not only with suppliers, things that they needed for the restaurant's food and so forth, but also their customers. And so I taught them English and cooking at the same time.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. That's interesting.
And tasty. It was.
Oh, I bet. So why did you return to the United States? How long have you been back?
I've been back for probably about a year now.
Okay, so what brought you back then?
Well, one of my former students opened a sushi restaurant in town, and he asked me to work with him.
Really? What's the name of the restaurant?
Well, it's called Flying Sushi. Have you ever heard of it?
Yes, I've been there. Their food is fabulous. It's top notch. It's really hard just to get a reservation there.
I know. And, I worked there 2 weeknights. And then...
So 2 nights a week you're working there still?
Right.
Okay,
but now I want to return to teaching. I've also been working as a therapist at a treatment center for teenagers struggling with depression and other mental health disorders.
Oh, wow. That would be a really interesting job.
It is.
Wow. You have such a wide range of experiences. To be honest, we have 15 people who are applying for this position. You've got quite a background, but why don't you tell me 3 reasons why you would be the best person for this job?
Well, first of all, I understand that different students have different learning styles. And for that reason, I've used iPads, video, music, cooking, drama, role plays, and games to reach every student.
That's good.
And second, I have a background in academic and psychological counseling and advising. Skills that are often needed, in working with international students.
Yeah, that could be really helpful.
So, many of them struggle with emotional turmoil, homesickness.
Yeah, coming to a new place.
Right. And so making the transition can be very overwhelming. And
good. So what would you say would be a third reason?
And finally, I speak 4 different languages.
4? Wow.
Yeah.
What languages do you speak?
Well, I speak Spanish, Portuguese, and Japanese at an advanced level.
At an advanced level,
right.
Wow.
And I also speak Arabic at a high intermediate level.
Well, that's very, very impressive. You do have an impressive resume.
Thank you.
What we're doing, we're going to have 2 rounds of interviews. We will contact you on Friday and let you know whether or not you'll be coming back for the second round of interviews.
Okay.
It's been really nice meeting you, and thank you for your time.
9.4.
So, what do you want to watch on TV tonight?
Well, what's on?
Well, there's a reality show on at 7 o'clock on Channel 5.
Nah, I don't like reality shows. I mean, they usually show people doing crazy things like, eating live fish or swimming in a pool full of snakes. I don't get into that.
Okay. Well, how about watching a documentary on the life of panda bears in the wild?
Personally, I'd rather watch something with a little bit more action and suspense.
Well then. Here's something. Do you want to watch a rerun of Star Wars?
I've seen it a zillion times. I'd like to see something different.
Okay, let's see here. Oh, how about this? On Channel 2 at 9 o'clock, there's a home improvement show about fixing anything around the house. We do have a few things you could repair in the bathroom.
Fixing things? Oh, boy, I'm beat. I think I'm going to hit the sack.
You're going to bed?
Yeah, I have to get up early tomorrow.
And then you're going to fix the bathroom?
Good night.
Okay, too bad though. There's a basketball game on right now, but I guess you can catch the score in tomorrow's newspaper.
Oh, okay. I'll stay up and keep you company while we watch the game.
I thought you'd change your mind. I'll get the popcorn.
Okay.
9.5.
Hello, Maria. Thanks for coming in for the interview.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, as you know, the company has been expanding and we have an opening in our HR department. We're creating a new role for someone to lead our training and development within the company.
Yes, I very much think that my skills and experience are a good fit for what you're looking for.
That sounds great. So, your CV looks strong, though it would be good if you could give us an overview, in your own words, of what you've been doing over the past 4 years or so.
Well, in my first job 4 years ago, I was working for a small HR services provider which offered HR services including L&D to corporate clients.
Okay, so it was only B2B?
Yes, we only offered services to other companies, not B2C.
Right. And it says here you then left that company about 3 years ago.
Yes, that's right. I was looking for a little more stability and also to be part of a larger organization. So I joined a company with around 100 staff and a small HR team. As there are only a few of us, we each deal with a range of HR topics. In addition to payroll, one of the areas I was responsible for was learning and development.
I see. And so why do you want to change jobs now?
Well, I very much like the L&D side of my role, and I've always had particularly good feedback for my work in this area. I believe I excel in that field. So I'm looking to specialize, and as your company has around 2,000 people, right?
Yes, that's right.
Well, an organization of this size would give me the scope to specialize in L&D. I'm also a big follower of your brand and feel fully aligned with your image and values.
Well, that all sounds good. And I can see you have an L&D qualification.
Yes, I got a diploma 2 years ago. I am also currently working on a further diploma in psychology with a specific focus on learning and performance management.
Very good. Well, it looks like you have the qualifications and experience we're looking for. What do you think will be the main challenges of coming to a much larger company?
I can see that it might be perceived as a weakness to not have experience in an organization of this size. Though I see that it could also be a benefit. I won't be bringing too many preconceived and possibly inflexible ideas with me to the role.
Yes, that would be a good thing.
Also, I'm used to taking a very personal approach to employee development. I realize that such an approach with 2,000 staff members will have to happen in a different way, but I bring many ideas with me that can be replicated on a larger scale.
I see what you mean. Right, so, do you have any questions for me?
I think we've covered many of the areas I had wanted to address. I have 2 quick questions, though.
Go on.
Who would I mostly work with on a daily basis?
Well, there's the HR manager, who you would report to, and then the HR team, which currently has 6 people in it. There's usually an intern or 2 who you can get some support from also.
Okay, thanks. That's all really clear. And my other question is, how performance in this role will be measured? What does success look like?
That's a good question. As you know, we have a performance management system in place, and from that, we have identified some learning and development needs within the organization. But we haven't devised a strategy. Your role would be to devise and then successfully implement this strategy.
Thank you. That sounds interesting.
Great. So, thanks again for coming in today. We'll be discussing all candidates next week, and then I'll get back to you by the end of next week to let you know the outcome.
Thank you for your time. I'd welcome the opportunity to continue discussing this role with you.
9.6.
Welcome to today's show. We are very happy to have Ana Oliveira as our guest today. Ana is the creator and founder of Homeworks, spelled with an X, we should note, an app which helps teenagers with their homework. Thanks for coming in, Ana.
Thanks for having me.
So, tell us about your app. How does it work?
Well, teenagers and their parents have numerous challenges when it comes to homework these days. In many families, both parents work and don't have much available time to help their kids with their homework. And even if they do have time to help, they may not be able to offer support with the content. What I mean is, they may not know or at least remember enough in any given subject to support.
You mean they might not be able to remember complex maths or might have never studied certain subjects, such as biology or economics themselves?
Exactly. So they might want to support their children with their homework, but have neither the time nor the knowledge to do so.
I see. So the app helps solve this problem?
Yes, and more. The next issue is that tutors can be expensive, and there may be long waiting lists for specialist tutors in the town or region you live in. Our Homeworks app brings students and tutors together online. Students can search a database of pre-approved tutors and sign up for live online support. They don't need to be in the same town or city.
That sounds really great.
It is, and this approach also enables us to offer the tutoring services at lower prices because there's no travelling time involved for the tutor to get to the student's home. And tutors who live in remote areas are happy to get access to more students and be able to work from home, even at lower rates.
This all sounds great. So, how did you come up with the idea?
Well, as you might guess, I was one of those parents I described earlier. I really wanted to help my son with his homework, but I was either too busy with work or I didn't actually know anything about the subjects he was having difficulty with. Also, we live in an area where there aren't many tutors, and the ones that are there are either very expensive or have long waiting lists.
Yes, I can understand your predicament. Well, it sounds like a very useful app that is clearly meeting a need, and its popularity obviously speaks for itself.
Thank you.
So, do you have plans for the future?
We've just secured some funding and hope to expand the range of services we offer using the app.
We wish you the best of luck. Thanks again for coming in. That was Ana Oliveira, founder of the tutoring app Homeworks, with an X, don't forget, which is available for both Apple and Android devices. Join us again next week for another business interview. Have a great week, everyone.
9.7.
4 interview questions you need to ask during a pandemic. By Ashira Prasik. The questions you should be asking an employer now have changed from those you might have asked just a few months ago. Questions about working from home, reopening plans, and employee health and safety protocols are now most important. Employers should be able to answer all of these questions clearly and without hesitation. If they show a reluctance to answer or struggle to provide full details, those are 2 major red flags. On the other hand, openness in answering and providing in-depth answers are particularly good signs. To get a feel for how a company is handling things during COVID, these are the 4 questions you need to ask in a job interview. What does the onboarding process look like? It's helpful to know what to expect when starting a job remotely. You want to be sure that the company provides a solid onboarding process so you're fully trained and able to do your job from day one. Key things to listen for are how training will be provided, if you'll be partnered up with another employee to help guide you through day-to-day work, and how you'll meet your manager and coworkers. Most training will be done via e-learning on an employee portal, but there should also be one-on-one time scheduled with your manager for expectation setting and rapport building. A plan for how you'll be meeting and working with a team should also be mentioned. If it's not, that's another question you should ask. What tech or tools would I need to successfully do my job? Pre-COVID, you could assume that all of the necessary tech and tools you'd need would be waiting for you at your new desk in the office. With remote work, it could be up to you to get these necessities. Some companies will provide employees with the tools they'll need to work from home. They might send a company laptop or phone, an external monitor, or professional quality headphones, or provide you with a stipend to furnish your workspace. Other companies might not provide anything at all. This is worth knowing before you start the job. You don't want to end up with any surprise expenses. What is your reopening plan? You want to find out if the position will be remote indefinitely or if a return to the office is the priority. With the current state of uncertainty, it's likely that there won't be a concrete plan in place, but you can get a feel for if the company is itching to return to office work ASAP or if they're open to continuing remote work long term. You also want to be sure that the company has policies in place for prioritizing employee health and safety and that they'll be following and enforcing CDC and local regulations when they do reopen. Keep in mind that your version of safe to return may not be the same as the company's, so it's incredibly important for you to get a feel of where they're at so you can make an informed decision. What health and safety protocols do you have in place? If you'll be expected to work in a physical location rather than remotely, you absolutely must ask this question. You need to know that the company is not only taking proper safety precautions, but that they're actively enforcing them as well. Listen carefully to the hiring manager's answers. Do they speak with conviction when describing safety measures, or is there a hint of, "we say this but we don't do this"? Use your intuition, listen carefully, and follow your gut. This issue is too important to take any chances.